All right, everybody, welcome back to the Scenic Route Astrology. If you're new to my channel, my name is Makayla Davis. I am an astrologer and I am presenting to you the new moon and the full moon forecasts on my channel, as well as some extra guidance that I've been gathering along the way. I'm super happy if you have found my channel now, this new moon. This is a really beautiful and exciting new moon that I'm actually really intuitively excited to share with you the energy that I'm interpreting. So we're in the middle of an incredibly potent year, incredibly potent shifts in our society, in the collective energy, and our souls have chosen to come into this life during this time for complete transformation, transmutation of the soul, and the direction that our earth is going into. And it's important, and I do believe that all of us actually have a really precise, important role to play in society. And it's really about finding our inner direction and purpose during these times and navigating and figuring out where we can fulfill our purpose and direction, and how to find that and go forward. Astrology is a great tool to help you discover that. And I hope that when you watch these videos that it helps you discern even more where that purpose and clarity is headed towards. And if you, as always, if you're having trouble and you really want guidance, I'm available for astrological readings. My full moon and new moon videos are a general description of the energy that can be applied for everybody, but of course it will always play a specific role according for you in your chart. And really learning where to discover this energy lies within your chart will help you navigate more clarity around that direction and purpose, and provide a guiding light for you. But you can always use these videos as general information, and if you're even a little bit aware of your chart, you know where the houses are, you know where this energy lies in your chart, it will help you discern where that energy needs to go. So, okay, let's dive in. Like as always, to this new moon. It's happening on September 6th, tomorrow. I'm recording this tonight on Sunday evening and East Coast time. Tomorrow it will be exact at 8:52 p.m. East Coast time. And the new moon is in Virgo. And the new moon is when the sun and moon make a conjunction together. The new moon is getting like a reset from the sun's energy. And it starts a new 4-week process, as well as a new 2.5-year process. And I do want to say that new moons in earth signs such as Virgo are extremely potent if you want to make a manifestation in the 3D realm, in the tangible reality realm. There's a quality about making things very physically happen for us. And there was a new moon in Virgo last year that I did a ritual with, not to bring up the past, but did it with my ex-fiance, and we had done this new moon ritual with some manifestations for his flight school that literally at the 6-month mark had started to manifest. Those goals had literally started to manifest into tangible reality. It was surreal, and it was like something happened where I found like the new moon jar that we had manifested all of our goals in, and I had like uncorked it and like looked at what was written down, and they actually came to fruition. So I really do encourage you tomorrow to do a manifestation ritual. I really do. And you can do them in any way that you desire. Like you can write It can literally be so simple as you write your goals down on a piece of paper and you put it in a jar with maybe some like herbs like that attract what you're trying to attract in. Red clover, for instance, attracts money and prosperity and abundance. So you would put, your manifestations in a jar with red clover herb, for instance. You could do water rituals as well, like a shower, manifesting and saying out loud and talking to your guides what your goals are or what you wish to put out into the world while you're cleansing your body in a shower. You could dive in the ocean. Manifestation rituals can really come in any creative form that you wish. And I really always highly encourage this with people, that magic isn't straight laced. Magic really comes from our creative purpose and our internal energy. So if you find something that like really feels good for you, because you're collecting herbs or you're collecting elements or colored candles that like really are they're resonating with you, use those and use other rituals that you can find online or in books to make your own up. And it really becomes special and unique for you. And then the energy behind that is even stronger. Yeah, so I really encourage this with this new moon, because also when we're in a new moon phase, we're in the dark. Okay, there's no light being shined on by the sun onto the moon because they're conjunct together, right? So this is a dark phase for the moon. And so things are new here. There's like this gestation period with new moons where, and this ties into the energy that I want to talk about today, where we're cultivating something internally, and it's very yin, and Virgo's a yin sign as well. So this whole process becomes really internal, where we're navigating internally how we feel about where we're moving towards something. And it will take courage to make those steps towards that progress and movement. Okay, we can't stay in this dark phase. If we want it to truly manifest and come to light, we're going to have to start to take these small steps and progresses towards these goals. And this is really what this new moon is perfecting for you, and shining a light, not shining a light, but like internal light. It's creating this inspiration, really, this internal knowing, where the progress needs to be moved towards. Okay, and so let me discern this a little bit more with the energy, so hopefully this makes sense. So the moon and the sun are conjunct together in Virgo, and so there's a sense of purpose and sensitivity. All right, purpose the sun, sensitivity the moon, towards your direction, and your emotions and where you're headed and where you're going. And the major importance around this also is that Mars is within degrees of this this new moon. It's within a 10-degree orb, which I like to use for the sun and moon anyway. So 14 degrees sun and moon, and then 24 degrees of Mars. I'm actually going to share the screen while I'm doing this so that you guys can see the chart. Let's see. Okay. And then I'll make my video bigger for you all. Great. Okay. So yeah, so as you can see down here, like Mars is in a wide conjunction to the sun and the moon, and here I see us as Mars is ahead of the sun And it's like, I need to take the steps ahead of time. Like Mars is our desire and our action force, right? It's our ability to take action, to move forward and go. And while it's in Virgo, it's like discerning its approach, okay? And it's opposite Neptune as well. So this is really important. And I wrote an article, which you can find on my Medium account and on my Instagram if you're interested in the Mars Neptune opposition, which is huge for us this month. Mars is opposite Neptune. It's breaking, it's having a clean breakthrough where our desire to go is, and there's almost a lost sense, there's a fogginess where we're breaking free from old worn out dreams that aren't part of our actual purpose now. Okay, we thought that they were, and there was a little bit of fog, or there is a little bit of an illusion around some facets of our life, and we've come to the knowledge that actually wasn't a part of our purpose. It wasn't a part of the greater plan, and we've been living through it this last week, and we've kind of been mourning it in a sense as well. But now we're ready. Mars is barging through that opposition, and we're ready for that clean breakthrough. We're ready to discover what the meaning behind those things that happened for us were, and we're ready to take that new knowledge from everything that we've experienced previously in our life, and all the vastness of the emotions and the connections that we've had. We're ready to actually take that in a very purposeful, organized approach and bust through those Neptunian waters of those dreams and desires, and make it actually tangible, and harvest something for ourselves that is actually going to be in alignment to our greater purpose and our goals of where we're headed towards. Okay. And this might sound like a bit foggy right now as I'm explaining it, but that's because we're in the realm of Neptune while we're discerning through this new moon phase, while we're in this dark moon phase. We can go two ways with Neptune. We can get lost in this fog of illusions and mystery and things that we don't know, or we can choose to get in alignment with our higher purpose and our higher good and our spiritual guides, and this intuitive knowing that isn't always exactly real and tangible. But if you go in and go yin, like the Virgo archetype wants you to do, trust your inner intuitive knowledge and strength, it will actually help serve that Mars moving forward and making those steps for you into that purpose, into that alignment. Okay. It's a really good time to just be selfish during this new moon, and not, I want to say, take the next couple of days, like tonight, tomorrow, and the next day, to like focus on your creative goals and your purpose, and other people's projects and stuff can get put to the side just for a few days. It's not selfish. It's actually time for you to discover more about your own inner being and your own self and where you're moving forward, because that will ultimately help the greater good. The more that people can do their own thing and connect with their own purpose and self, the greater it literally helps society around them. And it literally does trickle. It's a trickle effect. It's like when you throw a stone into the water and you see the ripples and that come out and they get bigger and bigger and bigger and they affect the whole lake. That's how that happens when somebody actually acknowledges their own sense of purpose and self, and they're like enlightened, and they're like, wow, I came here to actually do this. And then they create this small ripple in society, which becomes a bigger and a bigger and a bigger ripple. Okay. But we want to do that from a place of love, right? And compassion, for ourselves wholly, and then for others and for humanity as well. So always make sure that it's stemming from a place of authenticity and love and good. And the way to do that is to be selfish and heal yourself first. I also want to point out the ruler of this new moon. So you're going to want to look to before we go to that, you're going to want to look to 14 degrees of Virgo and where that house is and where that aspect lies in your chart. Okay, this is that new growth coming out of your chart. Okay, this is where that manifestation is beginning. It's in the dark phase. It's not going to become tangible reality until the next week or so, and then it will slowly accumulate and you'll see it grow over the next 2.5 years. But over the next 4 weeks, it'll be a slow moving process. And you also want to look at where 21 degrees of Pisces is. That's where Neptune is. That's where it's creating this little bit of fog, but it's also asking you to dive into your spiritual purpose, your spiritual nature, what connects you to the higher mystical realm, and how can you, really surrender to the collective need, and take it in and understand and funnel that into a clear objective purpose where you can harvest all your gifts that you've accumulated up until now in your life and put that to good use for the collective. Okay. So the ruler of this new moon is the North Node and Gemini. Okay, and so as we discover this North Node in Gemini, wow, I mean, like, let's be curious. Let's ask questions about where we're going, right? Let's take in the information. Let's give into us. It's surrounding us, like in our personal lives and in the collective. This is, again, is like really, really important to discern between what is useful for you and what is not. Like, what tools do you want to use to proceed where you're going, and what do you wish to toss out? This is and that's energy that you can only answer for yourself. Okay, there's no two stories are the same here. We're all living this energy in completely different ways, but it's really important for you to notice that it's really beneficial for you to be asking questions of yourself, especially with this internal process. Like, is what I'm doing allowing me to head in the direction that I need to go in, or is this step going to be beneficial for me? And to really connect again into that internal knowledge that you're getting. Okay, does this align with where I'm going? So Mercury, the ruler of the sun and moon conjunction, is in Libra. Okay, so I'm sorry, the other ruler is Gemini, which with the North Node, but the ruler of this sun and moon conjunction is actually Mercury in Libra. And so here we are, and Mercury is now entering its shadow into Mercury retrograde. And so the topics that we're going to be presented with around this time in our life is something that we're actually going to be ruminating over for the next few weeks until beginning of October, until Mercury finally finishes its retrograde. So Mercury in Libra can be very diplomatic. It can be very persuasive. It can be easygoing. It can negotiate really well. It's actually a very nice Libra, I think, for the end of 2021 as we finish this year, because it allows everybody to express their opinions in a finesse. And hopefully other people can allow you to have space for your opinions while you allow space for them and their opinions as well. So Mercury in Libra can be very devil's advocate. Okay, can totally see two sides to the coin. That's okay. We always need to look at both stories, both sides, both ends of the spectrum. And it is through the extremes of this communication where we can actually find the balance in this greater purpose or this greater direction that we're headed towards. Okay, so you might be presented with people that come up from the past in this Mercury and Libra, especially around relationships. Oh my goodness. I really do sense that some people from the past will be coming back with messages for you, whether that is like an actual message that they give you or you find an internal message within yourself. I really suggest you to be open to this during these times, using this Mercury retrograde. It doesn't mean that you have to make any action or take any action at all. It doesn't mean you have to get back with this person if they were a romantic relationship or an ex-friend and allow them back into your life. I really think of this as just an opportunity to practice your relations, your skills to be able to relate with one another as we shift into this whole Aquarian energy in this age, because it's really about finding compassion with one another and understanding where things might have gone awry in your relationship dynamics, and being able to hold space for them and where they were at and where you were at. Okay, because it's really not, it's not about you did me wrong or I did you wrong. It's not those kind of relationship dynamics. It's really about understanding that we're all here to teach each other things and show each other things and insecurities and tough dynamics about ourselves or how we relate to one another. So it's really about holding space for that. And that takes a lot. That takes a lot for somebody to be able to do. But if you're able to do this, you are actually able to have so much control over your life and your energy and where you place it and where you're headed, that the rest of your life starts to get restructured in a way that you never thought possible before. I really encourage this as the ruler of this new moon is entering its Mercury retrograde shadow. You really should start thinking about the way that you communicate with other people and hold space for them, because their truth is different than your truth. And you would want somebody to hold space for your truth as well as we enter this period. So this is like a new moon that's like it's totally about the digestion of all the information in your life that you've accumulated up until now, and how is that processing inwardly with you? And is it healthy? Is it clear? Is it organized? Are you being objective? And how are you able to move that energy in really healthy ways so that you can you can digest it, right? It's literal, it's so physical, like the Virgo way. You can take all this energy in and feed it to yourself and digest it and put it in the areas that it needs to be put into, in order for you to excel and to keep moving forward on your path. It's such an internal process. I really feel with this new moon for everybody, that it's hard to explain objectively, because I do know that it is so fine-tuned and so specific for each and every one of us, that I wish I could just read everybody's personal natal charts and help you discern. But I do feel like a lot of you, if you are finding astrology, that you are actively working on understanding your chart and where this energy is showing up. And so I hope that this is resonating for you, that you feel like you are in this digestive process of just literally taking everything in and figuring out where to feed it now, where to put it next, right? Where to plant your seeds, really, for the growth with this, because there's a massive amount of growth able with this new moon in Virgo. Honestly, if you wanted to start a new business or venture on something new with this new moon, that would be really positive. There's room for lots of expansion and growth. And I do want to say that because Mercury, the ruler of this north node, is trine Saturn. Okay, so it's going to apply the communication internally that we have. It's really going to apply towards the long-term structures that you're building in your life. So that's really potent. It's also Mercury's trine Sirius. Okay, so it's really here to nurture, seriously nurture those endeavors that you're going towards. Very powerful, creative, nurturing energy right there, just watering really that ground earth. Like that's awesome. And then Mercury is also sextile Juno. So there's support through the partnerships that you, some of them that you choose to make, especially, you know, during this time, with the Libra, the Mercury in Libra, all about partnerships, there can be real big support that come through. And so that's why I say be open to what comes your way during this retrograde. It doesn't mean that you have to take everything that comes your way. Have your discernment, have your wits about you, but just be open, because you never know what kind of new insight, even if it was just for a couple hours, like you just got this new insight, it could be totally transformational, towards where you're headed and where you're going. And then Mercury also trines the North Node. So it's very supportive, where the collective energy is heading towards, where we're all headed towards. And I did want to also point out that since the Mars is in a wide conjunction to this Sun and Moon, new moon, the Sun and Moon conjunction in Virgo, and Mars will be at 24 degrees in Virgo. It's helping us like discern where we're going, but it's in conjunct Jupiter. Okay, so it doesn't, like, Jupiter is like the laws that we establish for ourselves, okay, and the bigger expansive visions that we have, but it's making an in conjunction to Jupiter. So we might not be able to see, it's the blind spot. We might not be able to see what the steps we're taking towards are headed towards. We're it's so unknown. It's this in conjunct makes it so scary, I feel, towards trying to take the steps where we're going, because we can't see it. We can't see the Jupiter. So it's encouraging us to have some courage and strength here. And I do see that, because there's an aspect going on with Regulus as well. And Regulus is the star that wants us to have, you know, the king and queen archetype over our life, right? Like taking the rulership over our life in a way, and that requires some courage for us. So as we're stepping into this Mars, as we're sitting in this new moon energy that's very dark and like unknown, when we're kind of like, my intuition knows where I need to go, but I'm so scared, right? I'm so scared to take this step. Do it, because you can't see the Jupiter, but the Jupiter's there and it's supporting us. And there's so much support in the sky with this new moon, that, because it trines Pluto, Mars also trines Pluto during this, right? So the action that you take and you decide to jump into and go towards will give you power in the long run. It will. You just can't see it because of this in conjunct to Jupiter. So I thought that was really interesting when I was looking at this new moon. It's just, yeah, it's got a feel. It's got a total Virgo feel to it. And it's super humble, and it's sensitive in a way, and it's healthy. It's really healthy, because it's really encouraging everybody, whether you feel the energy or not, to decide what is useful for you, what is helpful right now for you or not. What is the clean break, I can't talk my words tonight. What is the clean breakthrough that you need to have for this direction, this purpose that you're going towards? So yeah, so be brave, be courageous, trust that the universe has your back, because it does. It definitely does. And I can tell you that having studied astrology now for like the last 2 years, it's 9 times out of 10, there's always that one time that I just miss the interpretation or whatever, but 9 times out of 10 I feel that this energy really just is so spot on. And if it wasn't, it was just a blind spot that I had that some other astrologer pointed out down the line when in a reading. So really, it's like 10 times out of 10 that the astrology really shows up and really describes the situation that we're in. And we don't always have the clarity and the sense of the purpose of it at the time. And that's okay, because we need to be living in the present moment and not so much in the future. I really recommend the book actually at this time called The Power of Now. I'm sure you've heard of it, by Eckhart Tolle, but it's really a very important book, transformational book. And it's really, when you're in the Virgo energy, you really want to be present with your body and with your emotions and what you're feeling and the energy that you have, because it can be so cleansing to be in that space and to understand exactly where you are in this moment in time and how it can really be so sensitive in directing you towards where you're going. Okay, so this new moon is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Really check in with yourself, really be internal. And I hope that if you need to rewatch the video again, I really encourage you, because sometimes you don't always get everything the first time around. But look for where these placements are in your chart. Look for where 14 degrees of the sun and moon and Virgo are in your chart. Look for 24 degrees of Mars and Virgo in your chart. Look for 10 degrees of Mercury and Libra in your chart. Look for 0 degrees Regulus in your chart. Look for where Regulus is in your natal chart as well. Oh, this is another thing I do want to point out actually before I hop off, is that this this new moon is also forming a trine to Uranus, an exact trine at 14 degrees. Uranus is a huge role this year. I mean, it's always a huge role, but like this year, especially with these Saturn Uranus squares that we've been having, this trine to Uranus is literally supporting like whatever internal dialogue that you're having. You might have this really liberating, expansive breakthrough, download, idea, thought, action plan. Something comes through vibrationally that it's like, that's what I need to do. That's what I need to go through. That's where I need to go. Some kind of completely innovative and really eccentric and also liberating type of thought or idea will come through and help you actually support that process of moving forward. And it's really a beautiful gift that Uranus is going to give you. It's really like the shocking kind of feel. You're not going to know where it came from. You're going to be like, what, where did that come from? Or what did that feeling come from? Or, oh my God, I just completely changed my mind about this thing, right? I just like, whoa, I just had this like realization. That's what Uranus brings sometimes. It's just like this complete shock, this complete change, and it doesn't go back the same. And when it's a trine to a new moon like this, it is super strong and potent. And in a year like this, it's so important. Yeah. So really be looking out for that. Actually, really be taking some meditative space or some alone time, creative time, even like if you work with clay, for instance, or something. I say this because now all of a sudden I've been wanting to work with clay, but if you just feel like you want to form something, for instance, just dive into that, dive into where that energy is taking you and discover what it shows you. And it's so fine-tuned and it's so personal for you. Virgo is so laser focused, right? So this is like something that's really hard for me to explain to the collective, because I know that this energy is going to be so specific for each and every one of you. So we can generalize it, but how it turns up is going to be so beautiful. The way that it's just so perfectly fine-tuned, yeah, for where you're at, where your chart's at, everything like that. So as always, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give me a like and subscribe. It would definitely help my channel. And if you have any comments or questions, like, please drop them in the comments below. I love to hear back from you, or if you have any downloads or realizations about your chart, your life, like, just be open to share them. I'm guarantee you that it helps somebody else one day as well. We can all resonate from each other. We can all learn from each other constantly. So I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Thank you for spending your time with me on this. And I wish you a very lovely, lovely manifesting new moon. And I will be back with you again soon. Thank you so much.